What if Yoda walked away from the Jedi Council during the Clone Wars? Or rather, just before. Let's have fun with today's fanfiction, where the channel began back in 2016. Sit back, relax, hit the like button, and let's have some fun. In the final moments of Attack of the Clones, Master Yoda stands on the gunship overlooking the burning fields of Geonosis and speaks words that cut deeper than anyone realizes.
Begun? The Clone War has.
In the canon timeline, Yoda returns to Coruscant and he leads the Jedi through years of brutal galactic warfare. He sits on the High Council while the Order militarizes, commands clone battalions, and eventually duels Darth Sidious in the Senate chambers during Order 66. But what if that choice was never made? What if he felt disillusioned with the Jedi? What if he felt the best move for the Jedi was to just not be involved? And how would this be done without him leaving first? What if, after seeing what Geonosis had become, a factory for war, death, and the end of diplomacy, Yoda rejected the entire path of war? He believed that he was a keeper of the peace, not soldiers. What if he left the Council entirely? And this is the story of a galaxy where Yoda steps away before the Jedi Council could fall. After the Jedi return from Geonosis, they meet in private. The Council chambers are quiet, the mood is grim, over 200 Jedi are dead, and Count Dooku has vanished. The Republic has begun distributing clone units to key systems. Yoda remains silent through the meeting. Mace Windu suggests taking command positions within the Grand Army. Ki-Adi-Mundi agrees. If the Jedi do not lead, they risk being sidelined. Saesee Tiin offers to help coordinate space strategies, along with Plo Koon. But Yoda raises his hand.
Enough! War is not the Jedi way.
He tells the Council they are making a grave mistake, that aligning themselves with the Senate as generals rather than guides will lead to ruin. And then before any vote is cast, he resigns. No debate, no argument. Yoda, like a monk, just leaves Coruscant and vanishes from the Order that he served for over 800 years at this point. The Jedi Order panics. They realize Yoda has been the spiritual center of the Council for centuries. His absence is an earthquake for them. Mace Windu takes his seat and the Council moves forwards, publicly claiming that Yoda is undertaking a long-term diplomatic mission. But internally, a rift forms. Some Jedi, especially younger knights and historians, begin to question what's happening. They remember that Jedi once served as diplomats, philosophers, and peacekeepers, not soldiers. Obi-Wan Kenobi, newly promoted to Jedi Master, remains loyal to the Council, but troubled. He watches Anakin grow more reckless with every campaign and wonders if Yoda saw something that they didn't. Now, Yoda doesn't flee to Dagobah. In this timeline, he seeks out Jeddah, a known location of ancient Jedi pilgrimage, long abandoned by the Order. There, he meditates and opens his awareness to the Force, not the political currents of the Senate, but the deeper truths clouded by war. He begins recording a series of encrypted holocrons. They're not training manuals, they're warnings of prophecy, of manipulation, of the dangers of confusion between peace and control. He sends one, in secret, to Jocasta Nu in the Jedi Archives, another, anonymously, to Bail Organa, and a third, to Master Kenobi. None are acted upon, yet. The Clone Wars rage on, and without Yoda's guidance, the Council grows more militant. Jedi become increasingly disillusioned. Some begin to leave the Order quietly, not to betray it, but because they can no longer reconcile the war with code. Count Dooku, meanwhile, spreads rumors in the Outer Rim that Yoda has joined the Separatists. The Jedi deny it, but they can't explain where their Grand Master has gone. This, of course, rallies more people to Dooku's side, that his old master has now joined him. Anakin Skywalker rises quickly through the ranks, just like he normally would, and Palpatine continues to manipulate him, now with even less resistance. The Jedi, without Yoda, fail to address Anakin's inner conflict. They have bigger fish to fry. Padme, in this version, is even more vocal about the war. She receives one of Yoda's warnings via Bail Organa. It causes her to question everything. And when the time comes, and Darth Sidious executes Order 66, something goes wrong. Some Jedi, those who had received Yoda's warnings, were already preparing contingency plans. Temple archivists who wiped travel records. Holocrons had been distributed. Several Jedi, including Aayla Secura and Quinlan Vos, anticipate the betrayal and they survive. The temple still falls. Anakin still becomes Vader. That is prophecy. That is how it was supposed to be. It's the will of the Force. But the purge is incomplete. And this time Yoda is not caught in a duel. He is watching, waiting, and ready. From Jedha, Yoda contacts Obi-Wan and Bail. He instructs them to not regroup militarily, but to preserve the Jedi spiritually.
Fight with blasters? We cannot. Win with wisdom? We might.
Small enclaves of surviving Jedi gather. They don't seek to rebuild the temple. They begin constructing a new tradition. Simpler, less hierarchical, less tied to the Republic, and less dogmatic. Jedi without rank, without titles, just guardians, just light side Force users. Meanwhile, Vader continues his hunt, but without the widespread trauma of a full Jedi purge and without a total collapse of the Order's spiritual memory, his myth fails to fully take hold. The people still whisper of Yoda. They whisper of survival and of resistance. This version of events doesn't necessarily lead to a direct confrontation between Yoda and Sidious. It leads to more of a Cold War, one of ideology, not so much saber fights and a new hope. Vader rules the galaxy with fear. Nothing really changes there all that much. If anything, it was easier for Palpatine to have manipulated him this whole time. Not that Yoda was really much help, but I mean, it's just one less thing to really concern himself with. But Jedi stories resurface in Outer Rim towns. Children with Force abilities are quietly guided by secret mentors led by Quinlan Vos and Aayla Secura back to Jedha. The holocrons Yoda left behind begin to circulate. Rather than being wiped out and reborn through Luke Skywalker, the Jedi begin to evolve underground. And when Luke starts to actually get a little bit older, not as old as he was in A New Hope, but old enough to walk and talk, he doesn't grow up in total ignorance of the Force, because Yoda never gave up on the galaxy. He just refused to let the war define him. From here, and I'd be happy to make a part 2, Yoda would then have Obi-Wan Kenobi bring Luke and Leia, who is with Bail Organa, to him. He would train them in the ways of the Force, and he would make 2 of the most powerful, full potential Skywalker children the galaxy has ever seen. From just a little bit younger than when Anakin was brought to the temple. And this rebellion of Jedi, of surviving Jedi, of Jedi who never actually got purged by the Order, will stand up and fight against the Emperor and against Vader as one. Not scattered throughout the galaxy, but they will plan and coordinate with Mon Mothma and the rest of the rebellion to form one true massive one that will bring the Emperor down and rain freedom on the galaxy much, much sooner. This will also allow Vader to have the possibility of turning to the light once again as Anakin Skywalker. His redemption arc could be a lot different too, and he might even join them. Let me know what you guys think about this fanfiction. I think it would have been pretty interesting. I think in this alternate timeline, I think Yoda leaving would have been really a stoic decision. And very Count Dooku-esque. It would have really mirrored a lot of things there with his apprentice, but he just wouldn't have fallen to the dark side like Dooku did. If he walked away from the Jedi Council before the Clone Wars, it wouldn't necessarily save the Republic. I think everything would have still happened with Anakin and the Empire, and it wouldn't have stopped Anakin's fall either, but it definitely would have preserved the soul of the Jedi. And that was enough to change everything. Just as we had the rebellion with non-Force sensitives, we would have the rebellion with Jedi, led by Yoda. Now, once Obi-Wan was done watching Luke on Tatooine and brings him to Yoda, then of course they would all be together and they would be training. Let me know if you do want me to make a part 2 and go in depth on that and have some fun with it, but I feel like this really explains the what-if scenario quite well, quite decently. So thanks so much for watching and so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you all in the next one on Star Wars Theory. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.